What's up, everybody? Fearin here, and as you can see by this first attack in the background, we pulled Malicious, which is the current Legend Guild for Siege and Global Server, and SW and Chill, which is another very top guild for our Siege today. So we're going to have no easy defenses. It's going to all be some pretty challenging attacks, which is going to make it super fun. So first, Malicious was running this Hyenas, Ken, and Savannah. It's a little different than the normal Nana Ken Sav that you'll see, in that there's a little bit more of a speed threat because you have the speed lead, and Ken could potentially be, violent, despair, swift, any different number of things. So you kind of have to be prepared to either race a Mally Swift unit or go turn 2 into this. Here I'm testing out, we have MINATO, the new Water Nat 5. The really fun thing about him is he basically only takes damage every other attack. You can see where he has the kind of arm thing above his head. If he's in that position, he's going to a counterattack whenever he gets hit. And then now when it's kind of protecting him, he won't take damage from the next hit. And then if the shadow is still protecting him when it becomes his turn, then he'll attack twice, which is pretty cool. He does a lot of damage. He's pretty tanky. And I'm using him here as a Savannah tank and as a damage dealer for this comp. So we took out the Ken first because he was, I think, the biggest threat to this comp winning is the Triana or the Riley dying. They have to proc a lot to kill the Minato because of the damage reduction. And we can see here that we were able to kill the Ken, kill everything else, and we got a win with this new unit, which was pretty fun. And then we're going to go into this defense again, actually. This time with a Feng, Lala, Tessa. This is a pretty standard comp that you see a lot of. We're running the Lala over the Lulu here because Sav getting a kill is what I'm most scared of happening in this offense. We have both Feng and Tessa on Destroy. I don't know if it's really that necessary for this offense because this isn't going to last very long. There's no healing. Potentially Will or something else could have been useful here. But we have the Feng leader skill and high defense on these monsters, so we're hoping that makes it so that we don't get defense broken by the Savannah, and we don't have some crazy turn 1 from this team. They also have the Hyenas for the strip, so Will could be stripped away even there. But again, we took out the Savannah first. We got a little unlucky with the Oblivion proccing not until after the monster was dead, but able to pretty easily clean this up afterwards. Next, we're going to run into, we fought a lot of these today, of these Momali Savannahs. It's a little bit older meta, but it's still a pretty annoying team to fight. We're taking in this wind cleave. We properly retuned this team again so that the Savannah is going first. We missed the defense break on one monster, but I think that's okay. We get the pushbacks on everybody and the reset on a couple of them. We're going to try to finish off this Molly first, because once the Molly goes down, I'm not really scared of anything else here. But the glancing and the damage not quite being enough there. We're going to go ahead and try it one more time, get a proc, able to kill off this Molly, and from here on out, it should be easy to clean up everything here. I think we notice this is a destroy Molong for the next time we fight this. If you try to take in a Bruiser team, there's a chance that is a little more difficult to deal with, but able to finish this off and get our third win of the day here. Next, we're going to go into this Odin, Draco, and Theomars. Something kind of interesting we found is that typically this is a team that there's like a 50-50 chance on you being able to Mijo solo because they have the crit rate leader, the 33 crit rate leader from the Odin. Theomars and Odin are usually built max crit rate, and so it's really actually hard to kill a Mijo. But I think about halfway through this attack, I noticed that all these units were built low crit rate in order to kind of trap these Mijo offenses. But basically what we're taking is, we're not going for the solo, we're just trying to be safe here. We're taking in 2 revivers with the Nana and the Tyrannus here, so that there's just some extra stuff to do while Mijo does the work. And I don't know if I executed this perfectly, but the idea is that if you kill the Draco, the other 2 units are very likely to be on max crit rate, and Mijo should be able to solo. So these units are just here to kind of stall a little bit out. I ended up hitting the Theomars a little bit here. I'm not quite sure why. I think I just ended up putting a lot of damage into in the Revenge and thought I had the other units with the Revivers. If I still had the Nana out, then it's great to proc those kills because it's just going to elongate the fight. But you can see here, the Nana ended up going down. They ended up proccing the second life, the Tyrannus, but I got The Theomar's taken out. We got this Draco almost done here. We're going to get one more revive off, but I don't know how effective this is going to be. This is just kind of stalling a little bit while I get these other kills. Odin's going to take out the Tyrannus for the last time, proc twice, and kill the rest of my revivers. And now I have this 1v1 situation with the Mijo and the Odin, which I'm pretty confident in. But you can see here, he crits me once, takes me down low. He still has that defense buff, hits me again here, doesn't crit, almost kills. And we're able to just vamp up a little bit more here, hit him one more time, proc the passive. He misses crit again, so that's, for having a 33 lead, this must mean that it's run a pretty low crit rate in order to have a chance against these type of offenses. Next, this is another 4-star defense I hadn't seen before from Malicious. It's the Fire Dryad, Vigor, and 2 Aeroid. I'm taking in a Hraesvelg Runa for a water tank and a damage Triana here. The idea is that the Vigor and the Roid are going to 100% focus the Runa. I don't really care if the Runa gets pushed back. I know these units might not be super high built on crit, but because it's a wind unit going into water, it's going to be enough to proc the shields along with the Rena's healing and the Triana's healing to keep that up. Hraesvelg just does so much incredibly high damage that we just pop that Vigor there. And now it's just about cleaning up the rest of these units. There's other wind damage dealers you could bring into this comp. Hraesvelg does the most damage out of the common options that you see, and there's not much threat onto your wind units here. Roid is going to be pretty focused on the water unit, Vigor is going to be pretty focused on the water unit, and the Fire Druid just doesn't do enough to scare your fire units. So felt pretty safe going into this. And I think we just hit auto on here and auto the rest of this out. Next, we're going to go into another one of these Mo Molly Savs. This time I'm taking a Bruiser comp with Fang, Lulu, and Tessarian. The idea here is to kill the Savannah first, and then you should have plenty of time to kill the other units. I like to skill to the Molly first here, because the Molly the first turn is going to use her shield if you proc 2 debuffs. And a lot of times if you skill 2 into the Savannah, the Molly just puts the shield up on it and it makes it harder to kill. So if you can put the Oblivion onto the Molly, make her cleanse herself, and then kill the Savannah, sometimes that can be faster. One other mistake that I made here is that I skilled 2'd on the Fang. If you don't need the healing, I don't like doing this because the Fang's likely not going to be taking hits here. And the way that Tessarian's passive works for tanking the Molong is that as long as the unit attacking you doesn't have debuffs, then you do decreased damage. So as soon as the Molong AoEs while you have the revenge up, and he takes the defense break like he did early in the match, that he then has the potential to ignore that damage reduction passive from Tessarian, and then some procs there can lose your Tessarian and lose this game. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like the primary loss condition, but it's definitely something that I don't think you really need the healing that early on. You'd rather just get the damage from Fang to kill the Savannah quicker. And I think it's just probably a little bit of a misplay on my part. Again, like I think as soon as you kill the Savannah here, this becomes fairly like a confident win. You can see here they have these Molongs on destroy, and my Tessarian is getting a little bit worse for wear, but we're going to be able to take out this Molly here with a nice proc, and then I don't think that this Molong would ever even kill my Fang, but we take in everything that's still alive onto this 3v1, and we're going to get, I think, our 6th win off of this one. We're going next into this inner defense on the SWC side of Odin, Draco, and Tessarian. A little bit different than Theomar's variant in that you have one more Bruiser unit, so it's a little harder to Mijo. And you can see here that disaster kind of strikes here in that I've been farming R5 and I grinded a rune on my Rocky, which put it 1 speed in front of my Draco instead of 1 speed behind. The idea here is you're supposed to have the Garo to kind of soften up the Odin, and then you skill 3 here on the Rocky in order to close that out, and then everything afterwards should be pretty easy. Luckily, this Draco is off will, so I'm able to stun it and prevent the Odin from getting the stacks. We just skill 2 in order to cycle as quickly as we can on the Rocky, and we're able to cycle back around here, get the second turn of the Rocky to kill the Odin and prevent his passive from reviving him. We're going to finish off this Draco just because it's so low, but most likely, yeah, my Garo dies there to Theomars, but we should be able to win this 2v1 into the Tessarian with our Rocky and our Draco. You notice here this skill 3 from Rocky, the buff here was that if it didn't kill, we still get that Endure buff, so it would have helped us live another turn in case we didn't kill right there, and that's 7 in a row. Then we're going to go in on one of these other defenses from the Malicious side. I hadn't seen this before. It's the Theomars, Nora, and the Ratesh. I'm going to bring in my Light Monkey comp. I don't think anything here is going to be that fast. I think the loss condition here is either a proc from Theomars or the Ratesh getting a defense break into the Theomars, but we're able to get that one strip that we needed. Most of these units were off will. And from here on out, I'm going to prioritize keeping down the Theomars because that's what's going to kill. And then secondarily, we're going to try and keep the Ratesh down because that's going to be the elongator of the fight or the secondary loss condition, getting those heals off. So we're going to have the Theomars pop from that bomb. The Ratesh now is in kill range pretty much. Everything is still CC'd, and we're looking good at this point. I think we're feeling that even if the units proc a lot, we're pretty good to close this out and get another win here. And yep, there we go. Next, we're going into a 4-star tower here on the SWC side. We're hitting this Harmonia Vigor and Skogul. We can keep the Harmonia Slept with the Lucia, and then hopefully we can use the Lauren pushback to keep the Skogul from getting too many rocks down. Maybe alternate some of these freezes as well in order to make sure that this team doesn't get too many turns. But basically, we just want to avoid our loss condition here is going to be if the Harmonia gets a skill 3 tuned into a rock drop that kills off some unit. Otherwise, we have the shield from Kamoon, heals from Lucia, and a lot of CC and pushback here for some good control. So primarily just making sure the Harmonia doesn't move so it doesn't get the immunity or the skill 3 for its team. Trying to pump damage into the Skogul first, and then we're going to kill, I think, the Vigor next, but it might also just depend on the timings of the skill 3s on the Lucia. Some callouts on runes and artifacts here. We have all 3 of these units on Violent. We have Destroy on the Kamoon. I don't think it's really going to come down to that, but it's a good insurance policy just to have in general since you don't really need the will. And we have some pretty heavy minus water on the Kamoon so that we don't just get taken out by this Vigor. And there you see we were able to kill the Skogul, and now that's kind of the primary kill condition of this team gone. The Harmonia procs out and is able to get up the immunity, but we only have 1 turn to wait before we can go back into it. I think I'll sleep the Vigor here. It just used the cleanse, so we're confident that that sleep is going to stick, and we're going to put some damage here into this Harmonia. I think at this point, again, we really just don't want to have an unwanted Harmony into like a skill 3 from the Vigor, so prioritizing to make sure that both these units aren't up, and we're using pushbacks and the 2-turn sleeps to prevent violent procs from being the reason why we could potentially lose here. But we're going to finish off this Harmonia with the next Kamoon attack, and then between freezes, pushbacks from the Lauren, I don't think this Vigor is going to get to play the game, and we're going to close out our 8th win, or our 9th win of the day with this 4-star tower. And for the last attack here, we're going to go one more time into this Mo Molly Sav on the SWC side. We're going to be taking in Luis, Arnold, and a Water Bison. And mostly just tanky Water Bison is going to tank the Savannah. We have double Revenge Will here. I don't think this really needs the most insane runes. It just needs to live. Revenge is nice because it'll help us get more procs of the destroy. We have the Luis on Violent Will. We have the Arnold on double Nem Will with some extra damage dealt on water. Just ignore the fact that we have a +12 artifact. It's an attack one. Don't bully me. We'll max it later. But yeah, the idea here is just that the Molong is going to skill 3 into the Arnold and get him very low. I'm like a little confused here. I didn't think that my Bison was going to go before the rest of his team, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, he's going to skill 3 the Arnold. Arnold's going to get super low, but so is the Molong. He gets a proc here, which makes that a little scary, but then we just boop, tap the Molong, and the main threat of this team is gone. We have that big immunity and shield from the Gene, which gets promptly stripped away. We're going to work on the Savannah next. I think I probably could save the skill 3 to go for a kill when the shield isn't up, but what I like here is just by putting that damage into Savannah early, we're now able to, as soon as the Water Bison goes, get some huge destroy, just max destroy in one hit on that Savannah, and that's going to make this Savannah kind of neutered for us the rest of the fight. He's going to do almost no damage. Watch my Water Bison's health as it takes hits from the Savannah in the future. It's just doing very, very little damage, even paired here with I have the attack break as well. It's like, it's proccing, it doesn't even matter, right? This thing is just going to live. And we're going to finish off this Savannah first to kill the last threat. And then while we don't have a ton of damage here, we're going to be able to definitely take out the Molly because we have the Destroyer from the Sager and the max HP damage from the Arnold, as well as the heal block across the Arnold to help finish off that annoying unit. But yeah, it's going to be the last attack here in the books, sealing off our 10-10, which is really exciting versus these two top guilds, and close out what's been a really fun siege. I think I built a lot of new 4-star counters, especially over the last week, and some other new units, and I think showcased like 3 or 4 things that I just built in the last week in this siege that were really effective, and so really exciting to see that work pay off, especially as we prep to go into Siege Tourney in just another month. Anyways, here was the map at the end of the siege. Malicious took first, SW and Chill took second, and we took third. But overall, really fun siege. Got to fight some of these harder defenses, and I'll see you guys in the next video.